Is Bitcoin dead again? Let's break it down. I'm going to be using this website, bitcoindeaths.com. It's a really cool site. You can just go throughout time and see every time Bitcoin has been declared dead by some kind of analyst, influencer, or news station. You can just go through, see specific stories if you want to explore this more. You can see the timeline. You can even see critics, who's criticized it the most, and how many times they've done so. Really cool website, definitely check it out. So in this video, I wanted to go through time to find some old news stories and compare them to some comments I've gotten in 2026. The first comment and a common criticism that people say against Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is not backed by anything. An article from July 4th, 2018 at a Bitcoin price of $6,584. And it says, I use the term worth cautiously because Bitcoin is really worth nothing since it's backed by nothing or no one. It's a confidence game that has value only because people are convincing other people that it's worth something. Got it. Ponzi scheme, confidence game, fraud. So Bitcoin is backed by its network and the energy used to create Bitcoin, right? It doesn't have to be backed by something in the traditional sense of evaluating assets, which are backed by some kind of cash flows for a company or some real world asset. Bitcoin is the asset and Bitcoin is money. Money doesn't have to be backed by the cash flows of a company or by gold. We tried tokenized gold. It was called the dollar and it didn't work. This just goes to show you that these criticisms keep getting recycled and they keep being proven wrong time and time again. The next piece of FUD is that holding on to Bitcoin is subject to wild swings that most people can't stomach. So this post was from July 13th, 2011 at a Bitcoin price of $13.94. Although I think Bitcoin is ingenious and fascinating in many ways, I don't believe that it will succeed as a currency. The problem is that Bitcoin is unlikely to be a good store of value because the fixed money supply will cause the purchasing power of Bitcoin to be extremely volatile. So again, the same things repeated over and over again. Bitcoin's volatility is just a product of being early in the adoption cycle. It's still a very small asset class when you compare it to other financial markets. So yes, the reward of being an early adopter to someone comes with the cost of short-term volatility. But as we can see, the same thing keeps coming up over and over again and keeps being proven wrong. Not to deny Bitcoin's volatility right now, obviously that is baked in. That volatility represents opportunity. If you're holding on to fiat currencies, central bank controlled currencies, as your store of value, then you are guaranteed that that is a bad store of value. Fiat currencies are guaranteed to lose value over time because that's the only way the economy can keep running, by printing the money. So yes, Bitcoin is volatile, but that's not an issue with the protocol itself. It's short-term noise. And then the third comment we had here was that Bitcoin will be relevant until someone just switches to a better crypto. This was an article from the Financial Times, which I'm not going to link here, but it was from September 19th, 2014 at a Bitcoin price of $391. We're going to stick our neck out at this stage and call this the end of Bitcoin. We're sure we may still see very few deep-pocketed VCs or believers throw more money at defending the dream, but chances are we've now gone through the exponential breakpoint. Time and money would probably be better spent trying to pump up Bitcoin version 2. That's another common argument I see, is that why can't someone just create a better Bitcoin? And that when someone does, then Bitcoin will go to zero. Well, there will never be a better Bitcoin because digital scarcity can only be invented/discovered once. Nothing will ever be able to beat the network effect and the fair launch of Bitcoin and its story and its pseudonymous creator. Other coins will come and go and they will have some kind of use case that they'll try to sell you on, but there will only ever be one neutral, permissionless digital money. All other cryptocurrencies are masquerading as something else, but not money. Money can't have a CEO and be fair, right? Money can't have an executive team calling the shots. Money can't completely change protocol from proof of work to proof of stake overnight and still be expected to be treated as a neutral form of money. The main difference between Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency is that Bitcoin had a fair launch where anyone could participate in the network from day one. There was no insiders, no insider allocation, just participants running the Bitcoin software. Every other cryptocurrency is a founder trying to sell you a token that they created and allocated to themselves. That's the key difference there. So it's just a pattern of new people discovering the same old objections, and price volatility does not represent protocol failure. I think that's the biggest thing here. All these criticisms sure could have some merit to them, but none of them represent an actual failure with the protocol itself. Just in the same way, when the internet first became popular, people criticized it all day long on TV, but the protocol of the internet stayed the same, but what changed was what people built around that protocol. And the same way with Bitcoin, it will succeed because of what's built around its infrastructure, the institutions that people create around it. The base protocol works and functions as intended. Adoption of a new technology is always going to be messy. It's never going to just go up in a straight line and everyone's just going to agree and we're all going to just walk off into the sunset. It's a messy process and it's a volatile process. Let me know what's the most common piece of FUD that you still hear today about Bitcoin. Let's discuss it in the comments. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. That helps out the channel a ton. As always, together, let's work, save, and build a better future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.